You break your leg in a car wreck and suddenly a walker costs more than your first car did. That is when you learn adaptive equipment is not just a nice extra, it is a real financial category with a name and a whole legal fight attached to it. Adaptive equipment means anything that helps your body work again after an injury changes what it can do. Wheelchairs, shower chairs, hand controls for driving, stair lifts, prosthetic limbs, all of it counts. Here is the twist most people miss. You can actually recover money for equipment you already bought and equipment you will need years from now, both in the same case. Past expenses are easy to picture because you have receipts. You bought the ramp, you kept the invoice, you show the jury the number, and boom, that is your proof. Future expenses are trickier because nobody has a crystal ball. Instead, lawyers bring in something called a life care planner, basically a professional who maps out your medical future like a weather forecaster, but for your body. That life care planner looks at your injury, your age, and your expected lifespan, then predicts what equipment you will need and when it wears out. A wheelchair does not last forever. It is basically a very expensive pair of shoes that needs replacing every few years. This is where the math gets wild. If you are 30 years old and need a new prosthetic every 5 years until you are 80, that could be 10 replacements and each one might cost tens of thousands of dollars. Insurance companies do not love this part. They will hire their own expert to argue you do not need equipment that fancy or that you will not live as long as your side claims. That is, basically two hired experts arguing about your future like it is a fantasy football draft. Except instead of points, they are debating whether you deserve a lightweight titanium wheelchair or a bargain bin model. Juries generally side with real evidence over guesswork, so documentation matters more than emotion here. Doctor notes, physical therapy records, and clear cost estimates make your case feel like a fact rather than a feeling. A common misunderstanding is thinking insurance automatically covers this stuff long term. Health insurance often caps benefits or stops paying after a certain point, which is exactly why the injury claim has to cover the gap. Another mistake people make is assuming they should wait until they need new equipment before asking for compensation. If you settle your case too early without accounting for future needs, you cannot go back later and ask for more money. This is why timing matters almost as much as the injury itself. Settling fast might feel relieving, but it can quietly erase your right to future coverage forever. The bigger lesson here is boring but important. Plan for the version of you that exists 10 years from now, not just the one sitting in the hospital bed today. Rational thinking beats panic decisions, especially when the stakes involve your mobility for the rest of your life. So yes, both past and future adaptive equipment costs can absolutely be recovered when the case is built correctly. Want to learn more about how this works for your situation? Check out our links in the description.